Have you ever stitched a seam on your serger only to realize your seam allowance is completely off? Too wide, too narrow, or somehow your fabric just vanished under the blade. If seam allowances feel like a guessing game, you're not alone. For over 25 years, I've helped sewists finally feel confident using their sergers, and one of the biggest struggles I hear is getting seam allowances right without constant measuring or mistakes. Hi Sewing Bees, I'm Sookie, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to take the guesswork out of serger seam allowances so you can stitch with confidence every time. Now, before we dive into seam allowances, there are three important things to understand about sergers: feed dogs, markings, width. Let's first talk about feed dogs. They are so much more powerful than those on a sewing machine. They grab the fabric and pull it through without needing any extra help from you. Because of this, you don't even need to lift the presser foot to slide the fabric underneath like you would on a regular sewing machine. Instead, keep the presser foot lowered and position your fabric just in front of the foot. The feed dogs will naturally pull it in, keeping everything straight and aligned. This is especially important because the blade trims the fabric about 3/4 of an inch before the fabric ever reaches the needles. That's a long journey where the fabric is cut with no stitching on it. So if your fabric isn't straight going in, the blade will cut unevenly, which means your seam allowance can shift before the fabric even touches the needles. The second key element is markings. Whether on the presser foot or the bed of the machine, these markings help keep things straight. One of my favorite ways to maintain accuracy is by looking at the notches or grooves on your presser foot. Most serger presser feet have markings that indicate the needle positions, and some even show where the blade is cutting. These are incredibly useful when figuring out seam allowance, stitch width, and precise fabric placement. So out of curiosity, let me know in the comments below what serger you have and if it's got notches on the presser foot. Another place you might find notches is directly on the throat plate for either the needle placement or seam allowances, which can be really handy. Some makes and models will have seam guides that can be attached. These guides help measure seam allowance more accurately, so check your user manual or maybe the manufacturer's website to see if your serger includes them or if they're available for purchase. Since each of my sergers has their own seam guide, I'll show you exactly how to attach and use both of them. But first, I'll demonstrate a simple way to measure seam allowance even if your serger doesn't have a guide. And by the way, if you'd like to take notes, grab my free Hello Serger Mini Handbook. It's a handy place to track your serger journey and includes some great serger basics. Download it now by clicking the link in the description. The third important topic before we dive into seam allowance is stitch width. So let's do a quick refresher, because this determines how much fabric is going to stay inside the seam and how much is going to get cut off. The key thing to remember is that stitch width is measured from the left needle to the blade. That's the part of the fabric that will be locked inside the seam forever. But what about the fabric that gets cut off? Well, that's easy to figure out. Measure from the blade to the fabric edge before you start sewing. That's the amount that will be trimmed away. The key is aligning your fabric so that the amount being trimmed matches your pattern's seam allowance. And honestly, once you understand this, the mystery of seam allowances of a serger start to disappear. So now that we've covered feed dogs, markings, and stitch width, let's put everything into action and get those seam allowances just right. For this demonstration, I'll be using a 4-thread overlock stitch with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. But just know this method works for any stitch and any size seam allowance. Grab 2 pieces of fabric, about 3 by 6, and place them right sides together. With a ruler, mark a 1/2 inch from the far long right edge. This will be our seam allowance reference. Next, we need to match that 1/2 inch marking with our serger setup. So take a small ruler and measure a 1/2 inch from the far left needle towards the right. That's where the fabric edge needs to be as we sew. To help keep things lined up, you can mark with some low adhesive tape, like painter's tape or washi tape. And depending on your serger, you might be able to place this on the bed of the machine, maybe on the front plastic door or any other flat surface that gives you clear visual guidance without getting in the way of your sewing. And now here's where everything comes together. The fabric from the left needle to the blade will stay inside the seam forever. The extra fabric beyond that, whatever the seam allowance allows, will be trimmed off by the blade. This means your goal is to line up your fabric so the left needle stitches right on your marking while the blade trims off the extra fabric consistently. And now it's time to stitch. Be sure to go slow, steady, and most of all, go with confidence. Sergers can smell fear, but you're fearless. So take a deep breath, line up your fabric, and show that serger who's boss. Pay attention to what's getting cut off and make sure it stays consistent throughout the seam. And just like anything new, give yourself some grace. Figuring out seam allowance on a serger takes a little practice, but trust me, you don't want to be marking every single seam with a pen and a pencil forever. So here's an easier way to stay consistent without all the extra steps. Instead of watching the needle, focus on what's being trimmed off. The blade is your guide. As long as you keep the fabric edge lined up with the tape or whatever marking you have set up on your machine, the serger will do the rest. Once you get comfortable with this, you'll be able to serge with confidence and keep your seam allowances accurate without stopping to mark every single piece. And like I mentioned earlier, many sergers come with some type of a seam guide, so I'm going to demonstrate how they work on the two sergers I have. Yours might be similar, so make sure you check with your manual. Let's start with the Bernina L460 seam guide, which is sold separately. First, open the sewing table by swinging it to the left. Take the seam guide and hook the two clips onto the right side of the stitch plate. Push down towards the left until it locks into place. And then close the sewing door. Once it's secure, simply guide your fabric along the right side of the seam guide. The cutout in the center mark is the left needle position, making it easy to align your stitches perfectly. Plus, the built-in measurement scales work in both millimeter and inches, so you can use whichever system you prefer. Now let's look at the seam guide on the Bernina L890. Just so you know, this guide does come with other Bernina models, so check your user manual to see if yours includes it. This one is spring-loaded, so just squeeze the top and snap it over the front overlock door. Once in place, it slides from side to side, allowing you to set your seam allowance exactly where you need it. Instead of marking the bed of your machine with tape, simply adjust the guide. The inside edge of the arm is where you'll align your fabric's raw edge. As you start serging, let the guide do the work. Just keep the fabric edge touching it, and you'll get perfectly even seams every single time. And just like presser feet, seam guides are specific to each make and model and aren't typically interchangeable. So be sure to check your serger's manual to see if you have something similar available. And if you want to dive deeper into all the parts and pieces of your serger, check out this video right here. And until I see you next time, I hope you have a creative day. Bye-bye.